When did I realize that the koi fish was my own? A week ago.
Sophia, I'm too nervous to sleep. The results of my graduate school entrance exam are about to be released.
Why don't you use my photo as your profile picture? Maybe you'll absorb my luck and pass.
The moment I finished saying that, I saw her profile picture change to my selfie.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. To be honest, Sophia, you've always had good luck. Let me borrow some, hee hee.
Good luck? Me? It's just a coincidence. I don't believe in such things.
The next day, I was woken up by Emily Green's incessant calls. Sophia, I passed. Ha ha ha. If I hadn't used your photo as my profile picture, I wouldn't have passed. As for why I didn't take the graduate school exam, it was because my biased mom said there was no money to support me, yet she turned around and bought my brother a Ferrari. To thank me, Emily Green treated me to the most expensive stall at the Southern Night Market. I was eating lamb skewers while listening to Emily Green's chatter.
What are your future plans?
I haven't decided yet.
Suddenly, everyone started running in one direction, creating a bustling scene. Emily Green, who loves gossip, stopped a girl to ask what was happening.
Chris Thompson is here. Want to go see?
Chris Thompson, a popular male star, every TV show he starred in became a hit. Even if he only appeared for 3 minutes, it would trend. He was also known as the nation's husband. And he was someone Emily Green had been a fan of for 7 years. Is it that Chris Thompson?
Yes, it is.
Emily Green grabbed my hand, and we started running.
Damn, are those legs rocket-powered or what?
Despite Emily Green running fast, by the time we got there, Chris Thompson was already surrounded by layers of people. The crowd made me extremely uncomfortable. I clutched my chest, wanting to escape. Seeing the joy on Emily Green's face, I frowned and endured it. After a while, I couldn't take it anymore. I tugged on Emily Green's sleeve, signaling that I would wait for her outside.
Are you okay? Let's go out.
Once outside, I felt better. I scratched my head, looking at Emily Green with an apologetic expression. By then, it was already difficult to squeeze back in. Let's get a family meal. Emily sat across from me like a soulless puppet. A shadow loomed over me, and I looked up to see someone wrapped up in a mask, sunglasses, and a hat. I discreetly reached for the pepper spray in my bag.
Our crew is looking for 2 extras. Are you interested?
No,
It's for the Blazing Horizon crew.
I'm interested. Blazing Horizon was the new show starring Chris Thompson. For the next while, Emily wouldn't stop talking about it.
How should I express this line? What pose should I strike when I enter?
I have a scene with Chris. Do you think Chris will notice me? I impatiently dug at my ears, annoyed by Emily's fangirling. From the moment we joined the crew to the wrap party, Emily's eyes were glued to Chris. She not only got a photo with him but also shamelessly added him on social media. I wanted to use my extra earnings to visit Dolly's Rye Lake with Emily, but an unexpected event occurred.
Let's go fishing.
Mr. and Mrs. Johnson dropped everything to join him. Feeling uneasy in my room, I opened the door to suggest they go another day.
Maybe we can go another day?
This angered them, and I was met with a barrage of scolding.
Can you stop being so selfish?
It's just fishing. Let him have some fun.
Clenching my fists, I muttered, "Whatever." My phone buzzed with messages. They were pictures from Mom, showing Eric fishing and the three of them happily together.
Lucky star, huh? More like favoritism.
I kept scrolling through my phone, looking at Mom's shared moments of joy that didn't include me. The unease in my heart grew stronger. Frustrated, I tossed my phone aside and tried to smooth out my furrowed brow. Emily Green grabbed my hand, and we started running.
Damn, are those legs rocket-powered or what?
Despite Emily Green running fast, by the time we got there, Chris Thompson was already surrounded by layers of people. The crowd made me extremely uncomfortable. I clutched my chest, wanting to escape.
Look at that, we made it!
Seeing the joy on Emily Green's face, I frowned and endured it. After a while, I couldn't take it anymore. I tugged on Emily Green's sleeve, signaling that I would wait for her outside.
Are you okay? You look pale.
She gritted her teeth and led me out. Once outside, I felt better. I scratched my head, looking at Emily Green with an apologetic expression.
It's fine. I understand. Let's stay out here for a bit.
Emily Green grabbed my hand, and we started running.
Damn, are those legs rocket-powered or what?
Despite Emily Green running fast, by the time we got there, Chris Thompson was already surrounded by layers of people. The crowd made me extremely uncomfortable. I clutched my chest, wanting to escape.
Look at Chris! Isn't this exciting?
Seeing the joy on Emily Green's face, I frowned and endured it. After a while, I couldn't take it anymore. I tugged on Emily Green's sleeve, signaling that I would wait for her outside.
Are you okay? Let's get you out of here.
Once outside, I felt better. I scratched my head, looking at Emily Green with an apologetic expression.
Don't worry about it. Let's just relax now.
I clenched my fists, my nails digging into my palms without realizing the pain. Taking a deep breath to calm myself, I entered the company. The atmosphere didn't turn oppressive because of my arrival, instead, it was quite cheerful. Michael Carter, unusually, was all smiles, trying to please me.
Hey, Sophia, can I get you some water or snacks?
Wouldn't go as far as to harm me, would you?
Sophia Johnson!
John had just swallowed a sip of water and spat it out, drenching Michael's face. Michael frowned and grabbed a napkin to wipe his face furiously.
We have evidence of the neighboring company's boss stealing our program. Let him bloat for a couple of days, then pull him down. Psychological warfare, I like it.
We should have listened to you on that project. It wouldn't have turned out like this.
John pressed my shoulders, making me sit down.
How many times do I have to tell you, my dear?
I'm sorry, John.
As the impact of the shooting game grew, the neighboring company's boss was exposed for stealing our program and was taken to court. The shooting game was taken down, and the boss's assets were compensated to us. John used the funds to hire many new employees. And I became the secretary.
Bro, it's a hit. It's a hit. The little egg game is a hit.
What's going on?
The little egg game is a hit. It's a hit.
John immediately opened his computer to check the game's data. The numbers were skyrocketing, like a steep slope, even more popular than the shooting game. If the shooting game's popularity was a 10, the little egg games would be a 20. I excitedly hugged John. Michael pointed at us, understanding the situation, and ran out of the office, closing the door behind him. Outside, he whispered that no one should enter the office.
Just now, actually, it was just, too excited.
I understand, I understand.
His eyes suddenly dimmed, and I wondered if it was my imagination. To celebrate, John decided to take everyone on a company-funded trip for a week. The group chat buzzed with excitement.
Switzerland, Lhasa, my dream. Mongolia, let's go horseback riding. Hainan, the vacation island. I fully support Hainan.
You're all so basic. Boss, can we exchange a trip for a bonus?
John said.
Trip plus bonus, I guess I wasn't clear enough.
Boss, wow, so moved. Hugging your leg?
I heard this project was Sophia's. Shouldn't we ask where she wants to go?
Agreed plus 10,086.
Everyone started tagging me. After some thought, I typed 2 words, Dolly. The trip was set for Dolly. As the secretary, I booked the flights and hotels for everyone. For some reason, I was fixated on taking the high-speed train. I asked John if we could book train tickets instead.
It's up to you.
I booked the entire business class for the trip. On the day of the trip, when the company car headed to the train station instead of the airport, everyone scolded the driver for going the wrong way.
We're taking the train.
When they heard it was the train and not a plane, their faces fell. They were dissatisfied with my decision but didn't dare protest.
Secretary, can't you book plane tickets?
Were you talking to me?
There was no sound in my headphones, but I heard every word she said.
I suggested we take the train. If you have any issues, you can discuss them with me directly.
Sitting next to me, John gently patted my hand, signaling me not to take it to heart. He was also puzzled why I didn't book plane tickets. I tapped my screen and sent him a message.
Uneasy feeling.
He nodded and draped a blanket over me.
I know you get cold.
No one at home knew I was sensitive to the cold, not even Emily Green. How did he know? Exhausted from staying up late organizing things, I was too tired to think and closed my eyes. After arriving in Dolly, everyone settled into the hotel. The intern kept grumbling.
Why take the train? We'd have arrived earlier by plane. Is it because you've never flown before?
John immediately booked a plane ticket on his phone and waved it in front of her.
You can leave now. To be precise, you're fired.
She stood at the hotel entrance, looking defiant. She booked a room right above mine. Whenever we went out, she followed us, gnawing on a bun, her eyes filled with resentment. John walked behind me, blocking her view of me. In the evening, we played werewolf in the hotel with a group of employees. John played on his phone nearby. Michael's scream shattered the peaceful scene.
Sophia, are you a psychic?
The news reported that the plane we were supposed to take had an accident. Everyone watched the news, occasionally glancing at me.
Sophia, are you a lucky star? Sophia, are you a reincarnated deity?
Listening to their praises, my firm materialism began to waver. The trip ended, and busy work resumed. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson said I was useless and urged me to get married quickly. Without even meeting him, they arranged for me to marry Mr. Smith's son from our hometown. To be precise, they sold me. The bride price was $50,000. I refused. I packed my bags and found a place to live on my own.
I heard about your situation. Here, take this apartment near the company.
I was so grateful that I almost knelt to thank him. The next day, rumors spread throughout the company that John and I were living together. John listened with interest by the water cooler as employees gossiped about our fairy tale romance.
Did you hear? John and she are living together.
I dragged the eavesdropping John into the office and pushed him onto the sofa.
What's the matter? Relax, it's just some harmless gossip.
His long fingers rested on his legs, and he had unbuttoned 2 buttons of his shirt, just enough to reveal a hint of his chest. He lounged on the sofa, watching me with interest, his fingers tapping rhythmically on the armrest. Blushing from my neck to my cheeks, I fled in embarrassment. I went to the restroom, turned on the faucet, and let the water droplets slide down my face, calming my racing heart. My phone buzzed.
If you don't agree to the marriage, you are no longer my daughter.
I hung up abruptly, cutting off his angry tirade. I like you, everyone knows it but you, read a message from John. My legs nearly gave out from the mix of excitement and fear.
You can consider my family as your own.
I hesitated. Just as I stepped out of the restroom, a grand bouquet of roses appeared before me, obscuring the face behind them. But I didn't need to guess. It was John.
Be together, be together.
Other employees clapped and cheered. I took the flowers and said, "Let's see how you perform." The office erupted in joyful laughter. Because I had mentioned liking flowers, John sent me a bouquet every day. Baby's breath, red roses, bellflowers, white lychees. Surrounded by love, I felt like a little princess. I met John's parents, and they were very pleased with me. Especially John's sister, who adored me. Every time she saw me, she would hug me tightly, and it was only with John's firm intervention that I was freed. At our engagement party, I sent a message to Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. They scolded me for keeping a secret lover and refused to come. Tears fell onto my screen, and when I looked up to see where the leak was, I realized it was my own tears. At the engagement party, John's parents treated me like their own daughter, piling food onto my plate and even threatening to kick John out if he ever mistreated me. I thought the engagement party would end perfectly, but Mr. and Mrs. Johnson caused a scene at the hotel entrance.
$200,000, or you won't get married.
Don't worry, I'll handle it.
With his reassurance, I felt at ease. I don't know what John said to them, but they left looking smug, and their gazes towards me softened considerably. Our wedding was scheduled for 3 months later. Everyone at the company demanded that the boss treat them to wedding suites. John Smith booked a restaurant to share the joy with everyone.
Boss lady, is this meal edible?
I casually replied.
Everything except the sweet and sour pork.
Daniel Lee, who loved sweet and sour pork, didn't dare to order it after hearing my words.
Why is everyone so superstitious?
As it turned out, I did have a bit of luck on my side. The table next to us ordered sweet and sour pork and ended up in the hospital. The diagnosis revealed that the dish contained a laxative. The restaurant owner claimed he had been feeling unwell and had taken the laxative himself, but it accidentally ended up in the dish. From that moment on, everyone looked at me with reverence. From then on, the company often sought my opinion on various matters, like whether to sign a contract with someone, whether to pursue a project, whether to enter a particular store, or even whether to take a specific train.
It's just a coincidence, really.
But they didn't believe me. John just let them be. The night before the wedding, I was too excited to sleep. I chatted endlessly with Emily.
Go to sleep, my little troublemaker.
Got it.
The large door opened from the inside, and the flashlights immediately illuminated me. John walked towards me step by step, as if he were treading on my heart. On what should have been a joyous day, he was crying uncontrollably. He slowly took my hand, gently rubbing it, then lifted it to kiss. Under everyone's gaze, John and I completed our wedding ceremony. A month after the wedding, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson showed up at our door. They were a shadow of their former selves, gaunt and frail. If it weren't for their voices, I wouldn't have recognized them as the vibrant parents from a year ago, now carrying a bag of plastic bottles.
Please, help us. We're so sorry.
They tried to hold my hand, but I avoided them. They kept apologizing and begged me to help them. Just as I was about to offer $50,000 to sever our familial ties, John appeared.
I've already paid $3 million to sever your ties. What do you want now?
They tried to say something, but John called security to escort them out. As they left, they dropped their pitiful act and cursed me viciously. Later, I learned that John had indeed paid $3 million to sever my ties with them. After I moved out and lived near the company, the family business plummeted. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson kept hoping for a turnaround, believing that Eric was their lucky star. They made various investments, but eventually lost everything. Uncle George scolded them when he found out what had happened, saying that I was the real lucky star. When we were kids, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson would take Eric and me along to business meetings. They didn't really want to take me, but I would cry and insist on going. They would eventually bring me along. I didn't understand what they were discussing, so I would chat with Eric in the courtyard.
The investor I saw today doesn't seem trustworthy. Do you think Dad will get tricked?
Eric would run over and tell Mr. Johnson not to sign the contract. Mr. Johnson always listened to him because he was the lucky star. This happened many times. Mr. Johnson always managed to avoid pitfalls, and the family business flourished. I shook my head, pushing these thoughts aside, and looked at the teddy bear in my arms. I wondered when John and I would have a little one of our own. The company was on the brink of bankruptcy, yet someone still came to submit a resume. I decided to hire her. On her first day, she peeked her head in and asked if anyone was there in the cutest way.
Hello? Is anyone here?
After a brief conversation, I learned her name was Sophia Johnson. She was just like her name, delicate and beautiful. A lovely flower. So pretty. I really wanted to keep her.
Don't worry, as long as I have food to eat, you'll have soup to drink.
In my heart, I thought if I had food, she would get it first. She looked so soft and adorable, making people want to cuddle her.
I want to invest in one of your projects.
How about Little Egg?
No, we should go for a shooting game.
They debated heatedly. Her face turned red from the argument, but she didn't notice.
Michael, this girl seems lucky. Investing with her is the right choice.
Are you joking?
No one knew that the Little Egg game was something I developed while watching her every move in the office. Soft, adorable, and a bit clumsy. Michael Carter, out of spite, refused to join the drinking session. That was perfect. I pretended to be drunk to see her reaction. I even deliberately held on to her, not letting her leave. She stayed with me all night. When she fell asleep, I wanted to carry her to bed, but she seemed a bit heavy. She looked so beautiful while sleeping. Her mouth slightly open. I watched her all night. The devil and angel in my heart battled all night.
It's okay to steal a kiss. She's sleeping so soundly, she won't notice.
No, taking advantage of someone is not gentlemanly.
In the end, the angel won. When I saw she was about to wake up, I quickly lay down and pretended to sleep. I secretly opened my eyes a bit and saw her pour a glass of water and place it by the bed before leaving. At the office, neither of us mentioned what happened the previous day. It annoyed me. Why didn't she mention taking care of me? That way, I could have naturally invited her to dinner. Why didn't she bring it up?
What's gotten into you?
The harmonious atmosphere was eventually broken. The neighboring company stole my shooting game and made a fortune.
Why did you insist on investing in Little Egg?
I thought it was better.
Michael Carter thought the shooting game was a hit. But I thought, once the neighboring company made a fortune, I could sue them and get all the money without much effort. I grinned widely. Michael Carter was too impulsive to be told the plan. This meant she had to endure some humiliation for a while. She felt so guilty that she didn't dare come to work for a week. I felt guilty too. Should I have kept it from her? I invited her out for dinner, but she didn't come. I asked her to come to work, but she didn't come. I found the contract she signed that day and located her home address. I waited downstairs every day, ready to accidentally run into her.
Where are you?
Just pass the test and go find my sister.
Heaven rewards the diligent. She came downstairs to take out the trash. I managed to invite her to dinner. Happy.